Hey guys, welcome back. Now we've had the opportunity to review quite a few Bluetooth outdoor speakers, alright, but no other Bluetooth speaker has got me this excited as this. This is the Sonos Roam. Now of course this isn't Sonos' first foray into the Bluetooth outdoor speaker. They also have the Sonos Move, but there are a couple of issues with that. Now first of all, that Sonos Move weighs a whopping 3 kilograms, alright, and also comes in at about $729, so it's not exactly a speaker that a lot of people can buy. Now this, on the other hand, weighs just 430 grams and comes in at a, well, arguably still a little bit expensive, but way cheaper at 299 Singapore dollars. So with the Sonos Roam, has Sonos made a winner here? Well, let's find out. Alright, so well, first of all, we'll talk about the unboxing experience. Now, first of all, before I get into what goes inside, I don't know about you guys, but I get sort of an IKEA vibe here, and I mean that in the best possible way. There's not an insult whatsoever. It has a feel like it was something that came from IKEA, even the design and the color of the box and everything. But anyway, inside the box, you do get a couple of things. Now, first of all, this cloth that popped out. Now this looks like your regular like cotton material, something that would usually break upon opening it, but it's actually a pretty good material, and honestly I think it's something that you could probably reuse if you want to store this somewhere, or even if you want to keep putting it in a bag. It's actually a pretty good material like that. But anyway, you also get your setup guides and of course your usual documentations over here. We're not going to go into detail about that. And you also get what I think is the best USB Type-C cable to be given free. It feels extremely premium, but not just that, it's actually a right-angled USB Type-C cable. So basically you connect it like this. Yeah, so instead of sticking out, it goes straight down. Now, I mean, it's not that big a deal to some of you, but I think this is an excellent design, and overall the quality of this cable is fantastic. Now, apart from using the Type-C cable to charge, now this also supports wireless charge, and you can get a wireless dock from Sonos that comes in at about 79 Singapore dollars, which is not too bad, although this just uses the regular Qi standard for charging. So if you have a Qi charger already somewhere, like for me, I have the one that came with the Klipsch T52 Truly Wireless, it works on that as well. Now in terms of the features, this supports Bluetooth 5.0, but not just Bluetooth, this also supports Wi-Fi, specifically Wi-Fi 5 or Wi-Fi AC. Now it supports both the 2.4 and the 5 GHz protocol, so that's really good. Now this also has an 18 watt-hour battery, and Sonos claims that this lasts about 10 hours. Now for the first time, I have to say, yeah, pretty much on the dot. I used it and it lasted for about 10 hours. Now the Sonos Roam is also IP67 rated, so it's water and dust resistant. Now Sonos also says this is drop resistant, although I don't have specific details on that. Now the Sonos Roam also supports Apple AirPlay 2, but not just that, this also supports Smart Assistant integration. So yes, this works with Amazon Alexa as well as Google Assistant. So this just comes in two color options. You have this one, which is called Shadow Black, and a white one which they call Luna White. Now honestly, for the life of me, I don't know why anybody would want to buy speakers in white that you're going to take outdoors. It's probably going to stain really easily, and with it being black, I think it will probably age better. However, having said that, this is not just marketed for outdoor use, it's supposed to be just as good for use in the home, so I can imagine why some people will want it in white. Now first of all, in terms of the design, I think it's really good. Now it's more of a, what I would consider a pyramid kind of shape more than cylindrical. Now there are a couple of benefits to it. Now first of all, if you put it down, alright, it fires upwards, which is great. So it's not going to go straight down because obviously you put it on the ground, you want it to be firing it towards you. But not just that, so you can put it upwards as well, obviously, but it goes one step further. It actually adjusts the audio, and it can tell whether it's being down on sideways or whether it's upright. It can adjust the audio according to this. Alright, and in terms of controls, you have your, of course, you get your play and pause button, you get your volume controls, and you get this, which I think is a nice touch because a lot of Bluetooth or a lot of outdoor speakers don't have this additional button, but you do get a microphone mute button. And over here, you've got your USB Type-C port, obviously for charging. And you have this button here. Now, I don't even know what to call this button because there are so many uses for it, and frankly, I feel like there are too many functions for a single button. So this button, alright, powers it on, powers it off, puts it on standby, switches it from Wi-Fi to Bluetooth, and puts it on Bluetooth pairing mode. Now, I'm sure you can imagine it can be a little confusing, and I do wish they had a separate button here, just an identical button on top here to sort of like share the workload, because right now, sometimes I kind of forget like how many seconds I'm supposed to press to get the feature that I want. Alright, but anyway, back to the design. You also have these little feet here, but it's also rubberized, it's not hard, which does a couple of things. One, it's rubberized, so it creates a bit more friction, and also I think it probably helps on uneven surfaces as well. However, you might not have noticed one thing, and I honestly don't know if you're gonna be able to capture this on camera, but there is one very small feature that I have to applaud Sonos for, because it's absolutely fantastic and quite genius actually. Now, this surface of both ends, it's actually slightly curved and is slightly indented over here. Now, there are a couple of reasons I think why they did it. Number one is for the buttons, alright? So first of all, because these are rubberized buttons, if it was totally flat, I can imagine them getting like damaged over time quite easily. So having sort of like a dent here keeps it away from the main surface and also makes it slightly recessed, so I think that's absolutely brilliant. The other thing, of course, is that it prevents accidental touches when, you know, you put it in your bag or something, it doesn't accidentally switch on or doesn't like accidentally press play or something. Now, one other thing before we move on, and I know that this is not intentional or exclusive to this room, but I think it's really cool, and I only noticed it after I took this out and started testing it, but the Sonos name is actually a palindrome. So in that way, it doesn't matter if you put it down sideways, it doesn't matter which way you put it down, it's gonna work this way in terms of the Sonos branding, and it's gonna work this way as well. Yes, I know a lot of you are not gonna care, but I thought it was pretty cool. Alright, now in terms of connectivity, like I said, it works on Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. Now to set it up, you're gonna have to download the Sonos app on your phone, and yes, it's available on Android and on iPhone as well. Now, one thing I do find weird is that you have to connect it to Wi-Fi first to configure it. You can't just use it as a Bluetooth speaker, although I do believe once you've configured it for the first time, then anyone can sort of pair it. But the very first time, you do need to set it up on Wi-Fi. Now, having said that, it is probably one of the easiest and most seamless configurations or setups I've ever had. Sonos has done a really, really good job. You can basically get this set up on your phone in less than a minute. So you just heard a very quick audio test of the Sonos Roam. Now, of course, I'm going to give my usual disclaimer. Now, what you are hearing may not be exactly identical to how the Sonos sound for a couple of reasons. One is the microphone that I use might change the sound slightly, but also it also depends on how you are listening to this video. So yeah, it's not going to be identical. It's just sort of going to give you an idea of how it sounds. And I have to say, you're probably not going to get a better sounding speaker in this size. Now, I honestly don't think I've ever heard a Bluetooth speaker meant for outdoors that has this sort of excellent and clear, like mid-high frequencies and sibilance. It is absolutely fantastic. Now, I do admit you're losing quite a bit of bass in this, but again, with the size, I think the bass is actually pretty good. But if you want something that's really boomy, then this isn't for you. But for me, I think it produces way more bass than I expected, and honestly, the audio quality of this astounded me. Now, the Roam also supports Sonos' own TruePlay tuning, which is a cool feature. Basically, what it does is that it sort of recognizes the room and sort of adapts and tunes the speaker according to where you're listening to it. And it's not a one-time thing, alright? So if you bring it to another place, it will adapt to that as well, as long as the microphone isn't muted, because it needs the microphone to tune it. Alright, so talking about the price, the Sonos Roam comes in at about 299 Singapore dollars. Now, yes, it's not the cheapest Bluetooth speaker out there, but I actually still think that this is really good value for money. Now, I say that because this is the first Bluetooth speaker that's sort of built for outdoors that is actually just as comfortable in your home. Because yes, this actually works within the Sonos ecosystem. So if you have your own Sonos setup as well, this can be configured to work together with it. So when you come home, you can put it on the dock or just put it somewhere, plug it into a charger, and yes, it'll be one of your speakers in your setup. And not just that, once this gets within your home Wi-Fi range, it automatically switches to becoming a Wi-Fi speaker. So you bring it home, just plug it in, and automatically you don't have to configure anything. It's now a Wi-Fi speaker. So yes, I do think that Sonos has made an absolute winner here, right? I've never seen a speaker that is built and is obviously meant for outdoor use, yet still looks extremely premium and wouldn't be out of place in your home. And with all those features, it is virtually 2 speakers in one. Now, I'm still not a fan of having so many features on a single button. I really do think they should have added a second to share the load. But despite that, I do love this speaker and I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5 and a Technobabble recommended logo. Alright, so that about wraps up my review of the Sonos Roam. Now, if you like this video, you know what to do, and I would love it if you would subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to receive notifications on our next video. I'm JP, and I'll see you real soon.